back. December 17th, National Maple Syrup Day. What do you do with maple syrup? You have some pancakes or some waffles? But we're not doing that because it's cookie season. It's Christmas time. It's the holidays. You gotta bake, 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 bake. So here's another cookie for you today. It's a maple syrup cookie. It's not actually, the syrup's in the cookie. It's not like you bite into it and all this maple syrup pours out of it, which might be kind of cool. I don't know. If it was the right kind of cookie, maybe a French toast cookie with a maple syrup filling. We'll have to see if we can create that in the future. But anyway, let's jump right in today and get started here. 2 sticks of unsalted butter, room temperature, so they're soft and squishy. And to that, you're going to add 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, okay? I know, weird measurements today. I looked around and I found this recipe and it's probably originally European, so it's got like all those weird measurements, you know, grams and millimeters and milligrams and whatever. So I kind of figured out, I did some math and figured out the American version of it, so that way you could do it too. Alrighty? So those 2 things in here, and just, as usual with a cookie, cream your butter and your sugar first. Okay, and then to that mixture, you're going to add 1 egg, just till it's incorporated, okay? We're not looking to overmix this thing today. Probably going to have to scrape the sides before I start adding the rest of the other stuff. Okay, that's done mixing. In a bowl here, we have, same type thing, weird measurements here. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour plus 2 tablespoons. Okay, to that, I'm stirring in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of baking soda. Okay, I'm just mixing those 3 dry ingredients together, and we're going to add this to our mixture here. Okay. Alrighty, and then as that's mixing, a teaspoon of vanilla, and the star today, 8 ounces of really good maple syrup. Not pancake syrup. Don't go get a bottle of Mrs. Butterworth's and dump that in there. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about real good, dark grade maple syrup. 8 ounces, 1 cup into here. And that's it. There's our cookie batter, or cookie dough, whatever you like to call it. Scoop and drop, my favorite. Who don't love scoop and drop? Okay? That way you get a nice uniform cookie. It's nice and easy. You don't have to sit here and roll all over your counter and cookies. I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, you probably would need to, this is a very soft dough or batter, so you probably would need to put this in the fridge and firm it up if you wanted to do like cookie. I don't even know if you could, this batter is so soft that I don't even know if you could roll and cut these. This is definitely a scoop and drop because the batter is so wet, okay? So I'm gonna just scoop these out, 350 oven, 12 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna check them at the 12-minute mark, just because I want to make sure that I don't know how fast these cook, how much they spread out. You know, whenever you do that, a new cookie, always try that first tray before you just, you know, bang them all out and then throw them all in your oven, and then all of a sudden you got a big mess on your hand because you didn't see how they react. Because there's a lot of butter in here, so these could be the type that spread out a lot. They could be the type that don't really spread out at all. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll come back when these come out. We'll make a little royal icing, a little maple flavored royal icing, just to add to that maple a little bit more. Because the jar that I found of maple syrup is 8.5 fluid ounces, and I only needed 8. So I'm going to take that 0.5 and mix it with some powdered sugar and make some royal icing, maple flavored royal icing that will, I have an idea, I think I'm going to take my pastry brush like we did with the peppermint cookies and just kind of dab the royal icing on the top of our cookies just to kind of give it this spiky, snowy kind of look. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it. Just so we can keep it in the holiday theme. Alrighty? Into our oven. See you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back to give you your laugh for the day and your lesson of the day. This is why I said you got to try a sheet first and see how they do. Okay? I put 13 of them on a sheet, thinking like a regular cookie like I normally do. This is what happened. See? It turned into one big sheet of maple cookie. I mean, it's not so bad because we're still going to eat it anyway. But this is what I mean. This is what you try. Why you try a tray first. So now I only did 6 on a tray. We'll see how those come out. I also cut down the baking time because it got to this, and I still had like 3 minutes left on the 12-minute set that I did. So I'm going to say 10 minutes on these. Keep your eye on these. Again, baking, I always say, keep your eye on your baking. Because this is what happens. But we'll have some fun with it anyway. I don't know, maybe I'll go get my cookie cutter now and cut some shapes into this. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, this is a tough one today. I already did the tasting because as I'm trying to cut it into shapes, it's breaking off into pieces and I'm trying to do these things. But this is so thin and flimsy that it's hard. Maybe if I cut the shapes into this big sheet, maybe if I let it sit for a little bit and harden up more, it'll be easier to break the trees out of the little molds here, okay? Because it's extremely flimsy and thin. I went to 6 instead of 13, okay? Because I didn't want this big sheet. Even the 6, look how much these things spread out. I mean, they spread like crazy. I'm cutting the time back again because they look a little brown. I mean, not that that's bad. They're not burned. But they look a little dark. Maybe that's the way they're supposed to be with the brown sugar and the maple syrup. I don't know. But try to go now more. Cut it maybe to like 8 minutes. I'm going to check them and see the next tray that's in there. We show you, do or die. They still taste great. The flavor is amazing. We just got to get down to where we can have just this nice, big, huge, flat, crispy, chewy cookie without it all meshing together. But it did give me a good idea though. If you took this batter, right, and you put a bunch of scoops on a cookie sheet, on a regular cookie sheet, and you made a huge, flat, square cookie, right? Follow me here. With your parchment paper, if you made some kind of a like filling, like a cheesecake filling or something, I don't know, I gotta figure out what goes good with maple. Cheesecake and like cinnamon or something. Get this huge sheet, and then just as it starts to cool down, because it's very flexible for a bit in the beginning. I mean, it's still flexible. I mean, look at it. It's still, bendable. Do a jelly roll with this cookie. How cool would that be? So you basically just get that huge sheet, put like a layer, spread a layer of like some kind of cream cheese, cinnamon, like churros, like that cinnamon sugar thing. Put a layer of that, and then jelly roll this thing, and then slice it, and you'd have these great pinwheels. Cookie, cheesecake. Oh, I gotta try this now, right? Isn't that a cool idea? See, sometimes from catastrophe, invention is born. Alrighty, so we'll be back in a little bit. I already did the tasting, but I'll be back just to give you an update on how they finally came out and what time you should do them and blah, 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 blah. Alrighty? Maple syrup day. We're having a good time anyway. Be back. Okay, so we're all done for today. We baked all our cookies. They basically come out like this. These super huge, but look how thin this cookie is. I mean, it stays soft and chewy even after it's been cooling down. I mean, it's just, I absolutely love this cookie. Regardless of how it came out or whether it was supposed to come out. Like the picture with the recipe that I found for this thing, they didn't look like this. But I'm so glad they turned out like this because it really gave me a bunch of ideas. Like I said, that jelly roll idea of doing a whole sheet of these and then just cutting them. If they do blend together, just get a really sharp knife. When they come out of the oven, let them sit for like a minute or two till they firm up a little, and then just cut them with a really sharp knife to separate them. That's what you have to do. It's either that or you're only going to get like 3 on a sheet without them running into each other. Here, I'll show you over here. I tried a couple more spreading them out. Unless you really, really, really spread them out, Like this one's going to be by itself, but these two joined, and this one's got a little touching and a little touching over here. That's all right. We don't care. The other idea I had with these cookies, if you take these round ones, like these just came out. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, it's too soft still. If you let them firm up just a little bit, but still where they're pliable with the circles, if you get a nice thick dowel, you can wrap this, or those cannoli tubes, the tubes they use to wrap that cannoli dough to make the shells. Use those, wrap this cookie around it, same concept, make like a cannoli shell or a cookie shell, and then pipe some kind of like a filling into them, so you have like your own kind of your own take on a cannoli, right? That'd be kind of cool. I mean, you could do cannoli cream with these. They're not overly sweet. They got this nice maple brown sugar flavor that I just love this cookie. I mean, even like I said, even though it turned out the way they turned out, who cares? They're delicious and they're perfect. And I'm definitely going to be using this recipe again and again. Just now I know how you got to bake them. Alrighty, maple syrup day, everybody. Make whatever you want. Another idea for a Christmas cookie. It's that swapping Christmas cookie swap time. So you can do, oh, yeah, I changed my mind. I didn't wind up I know I said I was going to do a royal icing, but I like these just the way they are, so I'm not icing them. Alrighty? We'll see you tomorrow.